Hadouken! Sonic boom!
How to roll with a black belt. So with this video we have Aaron, who is a first degree black belt, rolling with Kirk, who is a blue belt. So I'm going to be breaking this down as if I was a blue belt and what I would personally be doing if I was rolling with a black belt. We have Aaron on the bottom, or as, in the white gi, and we have Kirk on top in the blue gi, who is a blue belt. So this roll here is probably about an hour to an hour and a half after an open mat. So they've already been rolling for at least about an hour anyway. So, okay, so getting right into it. Kirk's on top, he's trying to work around Az's guard. You can see that he's hooking his, okay, oh, there we go. So before it was too late and he ended up getting his guard past, switched off to a full guard. Kirk in this position doing a good job of getting posture, getting the knee in the center, and then same thing as abandoned his guard as opposed to opening, or Kirk opening his guard. He did it on his own terms, switched off to a spider guard, pushing in the midsection. Best advice for Kirk is work around those barriers there. And looks like he's slightly almost caught in a triangle. He was doing a good job of getting the posture, although he could only do so much in the way of getting posture because he had one leg off the ground. Looks like he's addressing that choke, which got him swept, but then that's fine. If he's basing out, he's kind of in that dilemma. He bases out, he doesn't get swept, he gets caught in a triangle. So address that submission. So there's a threat of obviously the armbar, which you can see as switching off to there. Kirk does a good job of getting his hand behind the back of the leg. And see here as well, he got rolled over because he didn't have the best base in that position. So, bit of a scramble, got out of the submission, and he's in turtle position in this case. So one thing with turtle position is, okay, he's just on the defense, he's not even facing towards Aaron. Best advice, if you are ever in turtle position, make it a bit more offensive. Okay, so obviously you've got to deal with the threats of them trying to get the hooks, which looks like he's got caught, Az has got a right and a left hook at the moment. But you've got things that you can look at where you're turning towards your partner, you're trying to go to guard. Okay, that's one. Most of the time, most jiu-jitsu people are going to do that. You can also add in other elements where you're turning towards your partner, looking at going for single legs, double legs, duck unders. So you're not just in a very defensive position and you're basically just waiting for them to get the hooks or just defending the submissions. Anyway, getting back into the roll. So as is in mount, Kirk does a really good job of moving his hips out, and before he catches as in a guard, as switches around, skips his guard, and looks like there we go, he's going back into turtle. So he's dealing with a seatbelt in this position. Looked like he went to shrug Az off, but you can see Az adjusted his base. It looks like he's dealing with Az controlling his left wrist, and that stopped Kirk from turning and ended up, and getting to a good guard. But there we go, no, he did free up his wrist. It looks like he's slightly dealing with a gift wrap in this position. And you can see Kirk's trying to catch Az's knee. Okay, he's in a bit of a knee shield in this position. You can see Az starting to move around that knee shield. Kirk's got a good underhook. So one thing here, he's got an underhook and a knee shield. So keep in mind, if you are doing this here, actually did get his guard past and back to turtle. Okay, so an underhook is good for getting really close to your partner, but a knee shield is really good for relieving pressure and moving away from your partner. So you got to kind of pick one or the other because, yeah, okay. Anyway, going back into the roll. So Kirk's dealing with the threat of a choke in this position. Best advice is deal with the threat that's presented itself. Could get caught in a bit of a guillotine or maybe a Darce choke in this position. He's doing a good job. He is on his side, so there are some opportunities for him to hip escape. And although he's trying to catch Aaron's right knee in this position, okay, he's scooping under very deep half guard, which is good, but a normal half guard. Best advice for him is to start swinging the legs back and forth, which is hard obviously as Aaron is controlling his knee, but move into a deep half guard. But Very nice. So he came up on top and ended up going into a bit of a plan B sweep. That is the end of the first round, but I think we have another 6 minutes of them rolling anyway. So Kirk trying to cut an angle, move around Az his guard, trying to slide his knee across. You can see Az is already on his side. So very hard to pin somebody when they're on their side. They're in a position where they can hip escape as well. So trying to flare that elbow up. There we go, look for Az. Yep, there we go, up to a single leg. And he took away Kirk's left post. So Kirk in this position, hip escape as much as you can and get back to maybe a butterfly guard. Okay, looks like he's threatening a submission, but Az knows it's not that much of a threat, so you can still see he was trying to work into the guard pass. Okay, so obviously if it is a threat, you're going to be dealing with that threat, but it wasn't, and he ended up getting mounted from that there. Okay, so best advice is get a good guard, a guard that you can keep, then you can start attacking different submissions. So Kirk, flat on his back, you'll look for him to start to get to his side. That would be the best advice there. Very hard to hip escape if you're flat on your back. So he moved onto his right hip to try and catch maybe a half guard. And it looks like he might be dealing with a cross lapel choke, but a lot of pressure. And Az switches off to an armbar. And yeah, okay, so whenever you're caught in mount or a submission or any control really, any submission, when they're on top, they're going to slowly take away the space. So best advice is to keep moving as much as you possibly can. Otherwise, things are going to get tighter and tighter and tighter, as you saw with that mount position and also the armbar as well. Okay, so Az is on his back, which is excellent for Kirk. Look for him, yep, he's moving up the upper body. He already has an underhook, and then he has a good crossface with a lot of shoulder pressure with his left arm. And you look for him to try get his knee out. So you can see in this position, Az is working with Kirk. So it's very similar to where they were before, but it's a flip side of things. And there we go, Kirk's in mount. So it looks like Az is just working with Kirk, trying to see what submission threats he's going to present him with. He's got an underhook. There could be a threat of an arm triangle. So you can see Az moving around, create a little bit of space to pull his elbows underneath as well. So maybe Kirk's going to go for an armbar. He's got to hold on to that position and not lose it. Okay, so you could see as he was falling off, he tried to scoop Az's head with his left leg. It looked like momentarily he was thinking about throwing his leg up to go for a triangle. Best advice is abandon the submission, stay on top, that's the most important thing. He ended up in guard momentarily, got his guard passed, Az slid his knee out, and now he's dealing with a knee ride. He's doing a good job of staying on his side. You do not want to stay flat on your back, as I said earlier, where the hell can you go? So he's nice and tight in this position, but Az is able to switch to the opposite side, and then he came up turtle momentarily. He's got to turn and get his knees and his feet towards Az so he can actually get into a guard. And caught in another armbar as well. So definitely something we're going to have to work on as well, is the armbar defense. Okay, so look for Kirk to create some space, get the feet on the hips, get some good barriers, and you can already see Az he's trying to deal with the foot on the hip. So he got rid of the barriers and he's starting to already cut an angle. Kirk should be moving away so he can get better barriers. If you ever feel like your guard's getting past, move away to where you are a little bit more comfortable, and then you've got better chances of threats of submissions and back takes and sweeps and so forth. But caught in the same position as we were earlier, Az is already trying to work his right knee out. Kirk still hip escaping to catch his knee. He's got an option of maybe going into getting a butterfly hook in this position, a half butterfly, but Az is already working on getting his knee out. So as I was saying earlier, maybe a good thing to do in this position, because there is enough room, is maybe work into a deep half guard, but it looks like he's trying to turn towards Az and go for a bit of a plan B sweep. And he may come up on top, but it might be a bit of a setup. Yeah, right there. caught in the guillotine. So if you've ever rolled with Az, you know that is one of his go-to moves. Kind of gave him that false sense of security that, oh, excellent, I'm going to get a sweep. But yeah, he's got a very, very good guillotine. So what we'll do, we'll focus on a bunch of different ways of how to get out of a guillotine. Okay, so anybody who's rolled with Az before knows that he's got an incredibly good guillotine. So whether or not these moves will work, these defenses on him are another question because he's incredibly strong. It's kind of his go-to, but we'll go over a couple of different escapes. So let's say Nikita is wrapping around my neck. Okay, he's crunching, he's trying to go that way, arch, and basically get in the guillotine. So he's trying to crunch me this way and bridge up to the center. So as he reaches around my neck, obviously I'm going to try address the grip, but this hand is going over and I'm going to twist him the opposite way, and I'm doing a bit of like a side sprawl in this position. Very counterintuitive, but you're going to give your partner your neck. So you're working on flexing the back of your neck muscles, okay? And in a perfect world, I'm going to focus on breaking the grip like that, then I can come back to the center, okay? In a perfect world, you're able to break the grip, but we've got this other arm free to work as well. So just go for it again. So as he's around the neck, all right, I'm driving through, doing a side sprawl. I'm not able to break the grip. So what I can do, I can grab the back of my hand. I'm going to get my shoulder right underneath his chin. I'm going to base on my forehead and put all of the weight, in this case on my right shoulder, and go straight into the Von Flute choke. Maybe they tap, maybe they let go, and it's enough for you to get your head free, okay? If that's not working, what you can do as well is, like here, once I get a good base, and I'm not successful with breaking the grip, I can weave this hand around, and then I can put all of the weight right on his throat here like that, forcing him to loosen up the grip a little, and then I get my head free, okay? Or he doesn't loosen up the grip and life's even better for me. So, what we can also do in this position as well, or something we've really got to be wary of, so go around again. If I happen to go into this position, just make sure you're not here like this, where you've got no base whatsoever. You're going to get rolled over, like that there, and they're going to end up on top. Yeah, life's getting a lot worse for me, so go back again. Let alone, I'll go for it again. So if I'm here, and I've got this leg out there like that, he can get a butterfly hook, which will make his life a lot easier, where I end up on my back as well. So just be wary of those things. Make sure your leg is jammed up nice and close where they can't get that butterfly hook. Okay, so worst case scenario. He's reaching around. He's got a good grip. I'm here like this, okay? I'm trying to address the grip. I'm not having any luck whatsoever. I don't want to go like this and pull my head out, because that's where I'm probably going to get caught in a choke. So he has to control my hips if he's ever going to go for a guillotine. I would not recommend this one, but you're about to tap and you've got no other option. So he's bridging in the center, obviously locking his legs around my waist to actually get that control. So I'll show you what I can do as well. So in this position, I can't break the grip, nothing's working for me. I'm going to fall to my side, put my hands on his hips or the thighs, and scoot out as much as I possibly can. Okay, so now I can compensate. As he's bridging towards me, there's a heap of space. Yes, I'm going to go back to addressing the grip. In a perfect world, I'm able to get to here, where I'm out. Life's pretty good. If he knows what he's doing, he's not holding on to a guillotine when I'm in side control. But what is going to happen more than likely, the partner's in a bit of a dilemma where they hold on to the grip, and then they can try and roll up to the top. So let's say I'm trying to break the grip, it's not working, I fall to my side, I push as much as I can. He tries to come up, which is very awkward, but either way, I've got a good butterfly hook here. So see how he's basing out? I can break the grip and I can move. So if your partner ever tries to get up on top without using their hands, it's incredibly hard. But if they do use their hands, maybe you end up getting mounted, but hey, you're out of the choke. So this is something that can happen. So let's say he's going for the choke. Okay, I'm pushing as much as I can. As he lets go to get up, I'm able to break the grip. I'm in mount. That's life. That's all good. Even if later stages, he's somehow able to get up on top with a guillotine choke and end up in mount, I'm still going to push as much as I possibly can. If his hands are together, he doesn't really have much of a base. He could base on his forehead, but he'll rock over to his side. So I'll show you what I mean. So if we're here like this, okay, I'm pushing as much as I can. He gets up. I can start to bring a leg inside. Now he can't sprawl on me. Now I can kick him all over the place. I'm able to break the grip, and end up into some form of guard where I'm using my legs to get out of there. So there are a bunch of different options of what you can do when you're caught in the guillotine. Okay, so going right back into the roll as pulled guard, and Kirk's got to step up right with his leg, but he got swept. Okay, dealing with that position just like he was a little bit earlier. Maybe pull the elbow down to the ground, or maybe try the hitchhiker. So caught in the third armbar, so that's definitely something we're going to have to work on in the future. Okay, I don't think... Okay, so just about 30 seconds left. So Az drops down to guard, and looks like he's in a bit of a slight, almost on his way to De La Riva guard, spider guard right there. Foot on the hip, kicked back, and caught with a sweep, a tripod sweep. So Kirk's in a good position. Looks like he's trying to take his back. He's got a seatbelt, and I think that's coming to the end of the roll right there. All right, there we go. So that's the end of the roll. Okay, so we're going to go straight into some armbar defenses. So we're going to drop down. Nikita can set up the armbar. Okay, so we're here in this position. We'll say worst case scenario, he's starting to break the grip. Ideally, I want to initiate it, so I don't want to be here in this position, and then the grip breaks. It's going to be much, much harder to do the hitchhiker, which is what we're about to do. There's a little bit of pressure on my head here, so it's going to be hard to roll over my shoulder if I'm looking towards him. Okay, I want to throw this hand over the top, so the one that's getting attacked, I have that barrier there like that. Ideally, I want to be nice and tight here, but I'm not always that lucky to get to there. So I want to initiate it, so as he's about to break the grip, I'm letting go myself, I'm relieving pressure here, and I'm putting my thumb down on his chest, and ideally I want to get my palm on his chest. So in this position, the direction of my elbow has changed. Now, straight away, I'm relieving the pressure, I'm rolling up and over, and I want to put pressure on his leg here in this position. Okay, there's lots of other things that I've got to worry about, which we'll go over. So now from here, I'm skipping the back of his head, then I can start to circle around, and now I'm in side control, which is wonderful. Then I can work into getting my underhook as well. So I'll just change angle a little. So I'll do a quick one. So here, okay, I feel like my grip's gonna break. So, and knees nice and tight. So here I go, and then nice and heavy, and then I'm here like this, okay? Things that you're gonna be very wary of. There are a lot, obviously, outside of the armbar, but as I'm going here like this, if I hang out here too long, he can start to attack me and pull me down and go for that omoplata shoulder lock right there like that. Also, another thing as well, if, let's go back to the start. As I'm coming up, so as I go here, I'm gonna be very careful of the triangle as well. He can pull me straight into this position here like that too, because I didn't have any pressure on the outside of his leg, okay? So obviously you can attack my arm, you can attack the shoulder, lots of different things. Obviously the triangle choke as well. So I'll do the escape one more time. Just go this angle. So I've got this arm as a barrier. I feel my grip is going to break. Okay, as he pulls it, I'm bridging, putting pressure on the outside of the leg. Ideally, I'm holding on to this arm here so he can't roll and turtle. So another thing we could do is, if we're able to, we can work on getting up on top and doing a stacking defense. So just go back into it. So with this one here, obviously my grip is pretty average, it's getting better. The deeper I go, the better it's going to get. Okay, so what I can do here, I can do it here like this. Otherwise, if I can weave this hand in underneath on the back of his leg. So he's got a good tight grip in this position. So leg's nice and strong. So now, what I'm going to do, as he's leaning back, I use that momentum to swing up, and I'm up on top. One thing I've got to be very wary of, if I'm just stacking him here like this, I don't have a base over that side, so he can roll me back to this position here. So as soon as I get up, so go for it again. Okay, I can go here, like I said, the better my grip is. If I can get this inside, the better it's going to be for me. I'm going to swing up. Okay, straight away, I'm going to bring this leg up here. Okay, circle a little. So you can see the arm that's getting attacked, that's the one hidden by this one here. If I wasn't able to snake this hand through the back of the leg, and let's say it's a bit tighter and I had to swing up on top here, I've got a good base in this position. Now, I'd relieve pressure by pulling on the back of the leg, then I've got enough space to weave through here. So all I'm doing here is not just going out in one, because that's where I might get my arm caught. I'm gonna push and pull, and just shake. As I'm pushing, I'm pulling my elbow back. In this position, I'll end up where I end up. If I'm confident enough, thinking about all the other threats as well, I've got options of getting to here, okay? Maybe I can start to pressure him and circle around. Okay, maybe go that way, or go for it again. Maybe I go the opposite way, very similar to the other defense. Where I'm here like this, I get that hand inside, I'm pushing, pulling the arm out, then I can circle around, and then I end up in side control again. As long as I've got that leg up and I've got a good base, I should be pretty good. Make sure you're always using that arm as a barrier. We'll do one more. So, what will happen here and there, so just go into it. Okay, so I'm caught in this position. Sometimes I can't roll because he's switched his grip and he's holding onto my leg. Okay, so now, how the hell am I going to try and do the hitchhiker when I'm there like that? Especially with the friction of the gi. Very, very hard to kick this free as he's trying to arch and get this arm. Okay, another thing as well is even if I get a good grip here, let's say I'm just holding it like that, I go to swing up on top, he can bring me backwards because I can't get this leg underneath. For me to do that, so just let go for a sec, I need my knees to turn this direction. Okay, with that momentum, it's not really there. So, what I like to do in this position here, obviously, this is the one that's getting attacked, so I can start to work myself to here, relieve a little bit of pressure, enough to where I can start to bring this hand inside there like that. Okay, so I can't do the hitchhiker, I can't swing up on top. So what I'm going to do, very similar to the stacking one, is push on the back of the leg and start to twist and pull my elbow down to the mat. So now in this position, I don't have to get up on top. I can start to work on pushing, retracting my leg, and then I can finish in a position where I'm in a guard and I can think about attacking his leg. So I'll just change the angle with that one. Okay, so very tight in this position. Okay, so from here, maybe sometimes I can start to push and bring my head underneath like that. It is quite hard though. So I only manage to get to here, there like that, okay? But don't do this all at once because you're gonna push, pull, and get your arm caught. So, nice and tight, you're stronger when your elbows are by your side. Relieve the pressure, push, and keep trying to pull this elbow down. Now if he goes for it there, it's on my wrist. Obviously if he pulls my arm back in, I'm in danger because my elbow is past his hip line. But in this position, I'm pretty good. Even if I don't end up getting to a guard here, if he tries to scramble and get up on top, I mean, there's so much space for me to pull my legs in and get back to a good position. All else fails, they end up in mount, and hey, you're not tapped out. So there are three pretty good ways of how to escape the armbar depending on what your partner is doing. So there we have it guys, how to roll with a black belt. Hopefully with this video you were able to pick up some details, some steps, some tricks, some things that you can incorporate into your game when you're rolling with somebody who's a much higher belt than yourself. Along with, I do have an online platform with a free membership with every single video I've ever made. I'm constantly uploading videos on a regular basis. If you do want to check that out, the link is in the description. And until next time,